welcome to wenite. So welcome to another episode of A Day in the Life of, where we get career insights from various professionals across the STEM industry. So my name is Jennifer Dominic and I am the founder and CEO of wenite. So I'm very privileged today to bring you a very special episode where I actually will be interviewing our directorate team. So these are my colleagues that I work with on a day-to-day basis. So we're going to have on here our managing director and our executive assistant as well. So as some of you may or may not know, my current role in my organization at the moment is serving as the chief of staff as part of this directorate. So I'm very privileged to do some introductions. So I'll kick off with yourself, David. So if you please introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. Hello, my name is David Peacock. I am the managing director for MSD in the United Kingdom and Ireland.
Thank you, David. And Una Jo?
Hello everybody, I'm Una Jo Chad. I'm the executive assistant to the managing director.
Thank you. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to get straight into the conversation. You know, how does your role as an MD feed into how you support the organization as a whole? How do you bring them together?
Well, I think, one of the core functions of my role, I mean, there's two big functions I think about in my role. One piece is external, right? I am the representative director for our company in the United Kingdom, right? And so I'm an external face to government, policymakers, et cetera. That's one big chunk of my job, and that's important. The other major task I have actually is to align our leadership team so that we're making sure that everyone is working hand in hand on the right objectives. What I tend not to do, or I don't believe that I need to get involved and run any business, right? I have a team of incredibly capable and talented individuals. I trust them wholly to get their job done. But where I can add value is just bringing them together and trying to create a culture where we all understand this is a shared business. It's not my business. You've heard me talk about this before, right? Is that we all own this business together. Yeah. And my job is actually to try and bring the team together and so that we are acting in alignment with that intent. People are sharing their problems, they're sharing their opportunities. And the better I can do that, the more people start sharing their resources and we start really achieving. So that's kind of my job there. It's not to get involved. I don't get involved in any marketing decisions, finance decisions, anything. I'm aware of them, but I trust the people to actually go out and do it, and they do.
People want to understand, what is it like a day in the life of a managing director? What do you get up to?
So I'll start,
okay.
And then UJ and Jennifer, you can chime in as well on this, right? Because my job is very much a team effort, I think. So the first thing I'll say is every day is completely different. My job is really to try and coordinate across a broad array of kind of functions and disciplines and different teams. And so that means that each and every day, there's going to be different types of conversations, meetings, things to think about over time. So what I can say, and UJ can talk about, is that there are generally a couple of groupings that I would say I spend my time on. Obviously, I manage a team. I have a tremendous team here at MSD in terms of a leadership team. I will have a portion of each day generally dedicated to having one-on-ones with different team members to understand what's going on within their individual units and businesses that they're accountable for. I will spend time focused on particular projects or business priorities. They can vary from time to time, but if something is critical for us as a company, I'm going to be spending a little bit of my own personal time on that. There's a portion of my time that also goes to actually meeting and making myself available to anybody within MSD to support individuals in their own careers, their own businesses, share my experiences as best I can. A big part of my job is to try and both identify and develop the talent for the future so that there's another generation to kind of pick up wherever I leave off or my colleagues leave off and take our company forward. And then I do try, and often fail, to have some time for myself to think, about what is the state of play, where are we going, so that I can, hopefully activate and encourage and empower my team to achieve objectives. So that's the very corporate answer to what I do in a day.
You did well.
You, Jay, would you like to talk about the reality?
You did really well there. I think, as you said, that no 2 days are the same, and it's just a time management thing with your calendar, etc. There are a vast number of different meetings. As you say, you mentor people. I have so many requests for people to have one-to-ones with you, which you never say no to, never. And sometimes it's so difficult to find the time. I'd like you to say no, but you don't. There's just so many different things to do. You just have to juggle every single ball that comes your way, and you have to drop something if you're in the middle of a project, drop something because something becomes more important. But it's fun. It's fun, and I love my job, so yeah.
Thank you, guys. And I guess, David, maybe my next question to follow up with the both of you is, why do you need a directorate team?
Well, I think my role very much is a team effort, and it's simply because the demands of my time are more than I have available to me, and so what I don't want to do is let things drop. In part, the reason we have a directorate, right, is we can divide and conquer in many ways. I think UJ really is forward-looking, right? She's thinking weeks out and ahead. How are we allocating time? Bringing up issues as they arrive, also handling the more urgent things that come in at any time, and keeps us on track, right? And so once a week we get together, and we literally look several weeks ahead at each day and understand what needs to get done. Yeah. Jennifer, your role in part is basically to be my representative in all those meetings and things that I can't attend. Because often people will want to know, what am I thinking about? Is this a priority? Is it not? You go in my stead often, and can kind of communicate my intent as you understand it. Like, this is where I think David wants to go. This is what he's communicating. And at the same time, you're also my ears to be able to come from those meetings and say, hey, this is the decision that was made here, and because of that, we need to be doing this or that, right? And so you really are kind of this two-way. And the other important thing, and one of the things I appreciate from both of you, is you're a voice of the people I don't get to meet with in here, right? Because you talk to people that I just don't get to interact with, and it's I don't know, it's a problem within hierarchy, et cetera. But you're talking across the breadth of the organization, and you can raise my awareness to stuff that I don't even know is going on, so that I can intervene if I need to, and just say, hey guys, no, it's not the right thing, or bring issues up for our leadership team to discuss that otherwise just wouldn't have made it there. Yeah. So that's kind
I must admit, over my tenure in this job, and 5 MDs I think it is now, I have been the listening ear for the company and brought things to the leadership team that they might not have ever known about. Basically, I think it's to have an open mind, flexibility, a personality, a sense of humour, just be approachable as well. Discretion, and confidentiality, professionalism, and commitment. I think I've just thought of those attributes because they go hand in hand, I think.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to pick up on the thread that UJ just laid out, which is, I think flexibility is critical. I think curiosity is necessary to be able to ask the right questions, understand what's going on. A sense of humor is important because these are roles which you can easily get completely overwhelmed. You don't ever want to take yourself too seriously because you'll break down. You have to find humor, you have to find a positive outlook on things. But the other thing that ultimately is you need breadth of experience. you know, on any given day, you have no idea really what's going to get thrown at you, and you have to have enough knowledge to be able to ask the right questions of your team members to support them and help them and bring the resources they need to succeed in. And so, you know, it is, you know, from my point of view, if you're really aiming to get into a role similar to mine, it's early on in your career, how do you get that diversity of experience so that later on you know enough to ask the right question? That's the challenge oftentimes is in people's careers, they get functionally really deep, and they spend so much time focusing on going upwards that they end up being on a very wobbly kind of base. Whereas I think if you really aspire to be kind of a leader of a broad business like this, you should spend time going horizontal as much as you can. And then later on, you're going to make better choices. So that's the advice, is go broad. In whatever business it is that you want to be, make sure you try and get knowledge of all the pieces so you can help bring them together.
I agree. I think for me, with the experience in my role, it's really been about open-minded, because as you said, understanding what the organization is saying, and also understanding what direction. And I think to be able to come to you and say, actually, this is what I think we could be doing, it's important to be influenced, but not to be too heavily influenced in any particular direction as well. So just knowing how to balance that out as well. So really great advice. So I think with that, thank you both for your time today in sharing your experiences in a day in the life.